Folks, welcome back to the channel. I said I would do a watch update video. Lots of people on Instagram have seen me wear a few new pieces, and I said I would do an update video. Instead of going through the entire collection, if you want to watch that, I'll put a little tab up there. I'm just going to go through some of the recent pickups. I'll start with this. So this is the Cartier Santos Galbi. So Galbi is the French word for curved, I believe. Now, you may correct me in the comments, but I'm pretty sure that's what it means, because this was kind of an evolution of the Santos. The original Santos, particularly the Santos Dumont, the original Cartier Santos, was quite a bit square and hard edges, and this Galbi kind of rounded off those edges and kind of gave a level of kind of elegance and curvature to the piece. This one is a quartz movement with a date at 6. It fits and sits really nice and snug, kind of curving with the wrist, and just a really, really wonderful watch to wear. You almost forget that it's there. It just kind of curves and molds to the wrist. The case is stainless steel and yellow gold, and that follows with the screws right through the steel bracelet. The dimensions are 29 by 32, so it is small, but due to the integrated bracelet, it does wear a little bigger. So the Galbi was introduced into the Cartier lineup in the 70s right through the 90s. This particular model is more of a mid to late 90s. For me, the Galbi kind of hits that sweet spot for those who want the Santos but can't really spend the money on a Santos, particularly if they want a two-tone one, or if you're really a big baller and you want to go for the solid gold one. Very Gordon Gekko of you, but that's a little bit out of my price range. But if you want that Santos look, if you want a Santos but you don't want to spend 10 or 15 plus $1,000 on one, you can get a Galbi for less than 5. So this was a pickup, I would say, in and around August, September, before we flew to California to get married in September. I picked this up. The next pickup was, this is a 1977 Rolex Submariner, reference number 1680. So obviously the Rolex Submariner is an absolute icon in the world of horology. It pretty much set the tone for how dive watches are designed and function. Pretty much every brand has a dive watch that somewhat resembles the Submariner. From James Bond to Steve McQueen to modern day, the Submariner has not really changed a whole lot since its introduction. So what I love about the 70s subs is they're a much thinner profile. So although it is a 40mm, and generally 40mm wear and feel a little bulky and big on my wrist, but the vintage subs, the 70s subs, being only 14mm thick, even if it's a 40mm, it doesn't look, and it definitely doesn't feel like 40mm. It doesn't look big and bulky and chunky the way some modern 40mm do. The bezel is aluminium as opposed to the modern ones being ceramic, so it has a little bit more of a matte finish to it than the ultra shiny ceramic bezels we have in the modern subs. Mine came on this wonderful kind of reversed hide leather strap, which gives it this kind of rustic feel, and that's honestly what pulled me into this piece. Generally, I was never really a Submariner sort of guy. If I was interested in a Rolex, it was generally a day date on a presidential, and they're significantly out of my price point. But when I saw this vintage sub on a very rustic vintage style bracelet, I instantly was gravitated towards it, and it just kind of struck my eye, and I couldn't really stop thinking about it. I don't even think I'll go and try source the, oyster bracelet that this would have originally came on. I think I'm very happy with it on its leather strap, and I'll just leave it as so. Unlike the Cartier, which is purely kind of purchased for design, Rolexes are both purchased for design and for their movement. So the 1680 has what is known as quite a robust automatic caliber 1575 movement with a date complication, which is iconically set at 3 through that iconic Cyclops window. The Submariner's non-date counterpart, the 5513, generally uses a caliber 1520 or 1530 movement, which is renowned for its durability. These particular movements kind of defined Rolex for its robust and precise movements. So obviously the Submariner kind of has a place in every man's heart, I think. Just we grow up watching James Bond, and you know, I think it just appeals to us in lots of different ways. And even though I never thought I would own a sub, like when I was growing up, I never thought I'd have enough money to be able to afford one. And then even when I did have money to afford one, I never thought it would be something that I would actually own. But now that I do own it, I really do love it and I enjoy it, and it gets quite a bit of wrist time. So moving on to the next. So up next we have this Omega Speedmaster Reduced. This is from the late 80s, early 90s. I don't have an exact production year on this. I'm hoping it's closer to the early 90s, as I was born in 91, and it would be nice to have kind of a little birth year number on this. This is the reference 175003, so it is two-tone stainless steel case with a yellow gold bezel and yellow gold pushers. I have always loved the Omega Speedmasters, particularly the moon watches, you know, first watch on the moon. Similar to the Submariner, it is, you know, just an icon in the world of horology. If you're into watches, if you're a watch guy, an Omega Speedmaster is on your list of items that you want to own. It's on the collector's wish list. Now, which reference you may gravitate towards is purely taste, because Omega do a hell of a lot of different references. Now, as much as I love the moon watches, similar to the Submariner, they tend to just be a little big and bulky on my wrist. It's not a very big wrist. I'm 5'7". I think my wrists are about 7.5 mils or whatever in circumference. So it's not a very big wrist. And that's where the Reduced comes in pretty perfectly. Being 38 to 39 mils, so it's sub 40, but doesn't wear as small as something like a 36 or a 38 day date because of the pushers on the chronograph. So the dial layout, we have 3 sub dials, so a sweeping second hands at 3, and then our 2 chronograph complication dials at 6 and 9, and then obviously our main second hands stand still until we set the chrono, and then we can press the top pusher again to stop it, and then bottom button will make it fly back to 12. The movement is a caliber 1140. As I said, it is an automatic movement with a chronograph complication. The movement is based off the Lamelia family, I think that's how you say it, but Omega did kind of modify it for these pieces. It has a very typical power reserve, similar to the Rolex, about 48-ish hours. Now I have those automatic movement things that just generally where I store this and the sub, so I kind of just don't have to reset the time on them when I'm not wearing them, because I do tend to swap them out. So this watch is kind of attracted to collectors of a certain type. It's aesthetic with the two-tone, particularly the gold bezel and pushers. And obviously, if you're someone like me with a slightly smaller wrist, the wearability of the smaller case size is what's going to draw people to the Reduced versus the normal Speedmaster, particularly the moon watches. And then obviously the price, because the non-gold version of this is significantly cheaper. This guy probably runs anywhere between $3,500 and $5,000, and then the non-gold versions will be significantly cheaper. You can probably get them less than $3,000 for just a normal stainless steel one. So if you are in the market for a Speedmaster and they're a little bit out of your price range, and you have a smaller wrist, for example, you may want to look into a are reduced, because not only is the case size reduced, so is the price. And next up we have this little number, which honestly I couldn't find a whole lot of information about, so I don't know what the movement inside is, I don't know the exact production year, anything along those lines. It's this little Tudor Royal dress watch. So the only information I could find from it, it is production run is late 30s and through the 40s. And its case size is kind of very remnants of that. It is a self-wind. Nice crunchy movement in there. Yeah, stainless steel, really small, about 34 mils. It's got kind of this like Guillet off-white ivory dial, gold hands and indexes, and then a standard 12, 3, 6, 9. And then the rest of the indexes are just standard little batons almost. And yeah, I'll probably change out the strap. It's on this kind of hybrid leather and kind of nylon strap. I'll probably change it to just a nice classic black leather strap. And this will be kind of my go-to tuxedo watch. When I'm wearing black tie, this will be the guide that I'm wearing. I'm sorry I don't have more information on it, its actual year of production or the movement or the exact case sizes or anything like that, but just a neat little pickup that I found in an antique store in Dublin, and I wired my little brother some money and he picked it up for me. So, nice little piece. And last but by no means least, we have a nice little antique piece that I found in an antique store here in Portland, Oregon. And it is this Seiko 5 with a native American style strap on it. So I picked this up for $150, and then upon some research, they generally go for closer to $500. Now whether that is true or not, I do not know, that's what the internet says. So it is just a standard kind of Seiko 5 automatic with a day and date function at 3. The days are both in English and in Italian, and then obviously the day is just in numerals. And yeah, the only thing that kind of drew me towards this was just the uniqueness of the bracelet. When I tried it on, it gave very kind of Ralph Lauren Western vibes, if that makes any sense. It just, would I ever wear it on a day-to-day basis? Probably not, but for $150, I just couldn't really say no. But yeah, I honestly don't have a whole lot more information about it. I just thought it was quite a unique piece, and I thought for $150, why the hell not? So yeah, short and sweet video, little update on the collection. It's just 5 new pieces that I've added there, and yeah, so let me know which one is your favorite. If you had the choice of the 5, which one would you pick? And if any, that is, you might think they're all pieces of shit and they're all ugly, and that's absolutely fine. I love them. That's why I own them. And yeah, they all kind of get equal amounts of wrist time. The Tudor probably gets the least amount of wrist time. It's more of a dress watch for me, but the Sub, the Speedy and the Santos get quite a bit of wrist rotation between them. So thank you as always for watching and supporting this channel. I'm always trying to think of new videos, interesting things, when people comment things. I'm trying to think, can that be a YouTube video? I'm always struggling with this channel. This channel has been a slog for many years, so if you've got this far in the video and you watch all the other videos, from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one.